Next, item 3, open forum. We welcome your comments on items not listed on the agenda. The audience of patrons portion of the meeting is limited to 3 minutes per person and will last up to 15 minutes total. Delegations of more than 5 persons shall appoint one person to present their views to the board. Keep your comments in a positive nature. Please do not expect board discussion of items raised during the open forum at this meeting that are not on the agenda posted for this meeting. If comments made during the course of the public forum warrant further information, we will direct the superintendent to gather information for consideration at a later date. Our first speaker is Ms. Ana Rodriguez, domain 1, 2, and 3.
Good evening. My name is Ana Rodriguez, and I am a concerned citizen, parent, and grandparent. In 2022, our district went from an F to a C rating under the direction and leadership of Dr. Garza, Jennifer Griffin, Natalie Arias, and Blair Doris, to name a few. At the same time, East Central ISD scores were plummeting under the leadership of Colas and Graber. The state rated ECISD as not rated, standard for any district or school lower than a C. ECISD was rated at a 68, and UCISD was receiving an 80. I will add that unfortunately, all of the aforementioned educators have since left our district. Before making your decision to hire Colas, were you as a board aware of these statistics? Were you not concerned about this data? Being that I am data driven, I researched and I have a copy of this article written in 2022 by KENS 5. At that point in time, Graber was the coordinator for advancing instruction for ECISD. Today, UCISD Colas has hired Graber as the Chief Instructional Officer. She oversees curriculum and instruction. The curriculum that she has introduced seems to set up the students and the teachers up for failure. It is a curriculum that is a tier 1 instruction, which means that everyone gets the same lessons regardless of the student need. How does this help the tier 2 and tier 3 students? I shouldn't be surprised though when the motto that they had was, "We fail together." It is my understanding that Colas' contract may be up for an evaluation. Knowing the damage that she has already caused, not only in our district, but others as well, can you as a board in good faith continue to support her? Your decisions are based largely on numbers. What about the numbers of certified teachers and staff that have left the district? What about the numbers of students and families that have left and continue to leave our district? Do these numbers not matter? When will you as a board realize that this district cannot afford another 2 years with Colas at the helm? When will you as a board begin your due diligence? When will you as a board begin making informed decisions based on facts and not simply what the superintendent brings to you? Because I'll tell you, in May 2026, we the voters will be making those decisions. Thank you. Oh, I do have a copy of the article if you'd like one, but I think this call is already done.
Thank you. Our next person is Sergio Morales. He's going to give us a handout on properties.
I won't take the 3 minutes. Just wanted to hand out the proposal that I have. So there's no given number or anything like that, but all the details are. short one, but I can reach out there. Anyway.
Thank you. Next, item 4, public hearing regarding the possible sale of district-owned properties. Superintendent Colas?
Thank you, President Bettis. At this time, I'll ask Ms. Bendeley, our CFO, to come to the podium, make a very brief presentation regarding the 2 properties that y'all had asked about.
Good
And then we'll open it
afternoon.
up to the public.
Good afternoon, Board President, trustees, Ms. Colas, and our audience this afternoon. Like Ms. Colas said, this would be it's brief, but we put together a little bit of information, and I hit the wrong thing, David. There. So in July 2025, the district had the following properties appraised. We appraised 802 South Camp, which is a vacant lot, 236 Valley View, which most people probably know it as the Slate Creek Teacherage, 129 Goldbeck, West Garden, or the Mata Taurus building, 901 North Getty, which is Flores Elementary, 1004 North Getty, which we refer to it as the Little White House. 108 North Getty is our maintenance office in their facilities, and 715 Geraldine. Our 802 South Camp Street is property number 13365 with the Uvalde County Appraisal District. It was deeded to UCISD from non-payment of property taxes in year 2012. The appraised value that the UCAD has it valued at is $33,000. It is 0.17 of an acre or 7,500 square foot, and the lot is, I believe, 50 feet wide by 150 feet deep. And currently, the district is not earning any tax revenue on that as it being deeded to the school district. So therefore, it's not earning the district any revenue. 236 Valley View at the appraisal district, it's property number 116734, also known as Slate Creek. The district purchased the property in May of 2023. The appraisal district has it valued right at $2 million. Slate Creek consists of 13 units. There's 12 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1 2-bedroom, 1-bath. The units all include washer and dryers, stove, refrigerator, and dishwasher. So I put together the actual cost and of what it costs to have 236 Valley View. So 23-24, which was the first year, again, I believe it was purchased in May of 23. And we had rental revenue of right at 131,000. And the total expenditures were 219,000. So that year there was a loss of right about $89,000 for year 23-24. 24-25, we had rental revenue of 100,000 and total expenditures of 198,000. So a loss of 97,000. Our current year budget of 25-26, we had rental revenue of about 202,000. We had estimated that all units would be rented for about 90% of the time. And that is at, I believe it was at $1,500 a unit. We've estimated our expenditures to be 202,000. So budget-wise, we really breaking even. But I can tell you not all the units are, generating income at this time. So that right now will not have a profit on that property at this time. 129 Goldbeck, property ID 15941. The appraisal district has it valued at about 131,000. And the annual cost about 64,000. I did take 2 years cost and averaged them just to kind of, because you could have a really bad year and a year that we didn't spend as much. So I felt like that was probably a realistic cost. So it cost us about $64,000 to have that facility. And that's, I thought I had more, but I guess not. Okay. So this time we'll open it up to see if the community has any questions, because this is a public hearing. So if anybody would like to speak on the properties, now would be a great time. All right, hearing none. Board, do y'all have anything that I could answer for y'all?
I think I mean, been given everything that we've asked for so that we can, kind of see where our costs are and, where we stand. So thank you, Pam.
Yes, ma'am.
Spindly, on the Slate Creek, you mentioned that not all the units being occupied, is that what you said?
No, I think, is there 5?
Maybe.
I think maybe there's 5. I'd have to go back. I know we had counted and looked at it that day that I was putting this together, but I don't remember for sure.
We've shown the units to about 4 people. We've shown them, but when people find out the cost, in addition to the utilities, it will run about $2,000 a month, and so people opt to get an apartment or do something different. So
For the size of them.
Yeah.
right, and I did email y'all for feedback a proposed sliding scale. Policy for it that would clearly outline, how to get into them, generate some forms and done some things. So maybe in the next month or 2, we'll be able to get that approved. Once y'all give me feedback on it, I can kind of finalize it. We can bring it to a board meeting and talk more about it, unless y'all decide to sell it. One idea that Pam had about Slate Creek was being able to sell it, put the money back into fund balance, and earmarking a portion to where, in order to recruit people, we are able to give like a housing stipend, and then they can find their own housing. I mean, that's another option for the district, but we're having a difficult time renting them out at that price range, at that price point.
Yeah, it's not earning any tax revenue for us either.
Good evening, and just to clarify, Commissar Secretary Brandon, we actually have the first property parcel that y'all identified, is actually, on the item that I have for you all tonight for public resale, since it was, struck off to the ISD to be held in trust on behalf of all the other taxing units. So coincidentally enough, I'm asking for you all to tell me what amount I can start the bidding off on one of the items for that first property. So when I haul it out, any information you all have on that in terms of the appraisal, any questions, I'd refer to those documents as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
The only property on tonight's agenda for y'all to vote on as far as to sell is that 0.17 of an acre.
Where are you getting the rental? Like, where is that?
It
pricing?
came from, that pricing came from the board.
So we're setting it at what did you say, $1,200?
No, 1,500 plus plus utilities was what y'all had advised.
That pretty like across the board. Like, have we compared that to other? Like, you're
Whenever-
saying they're choosing to go somewhere else. So is there like a better price point somewhere else that we're losing people? And so maybe that's something we need to revisit.
In the proposal that I sent y'all, it has a sliding scale. I got the cost off of apartments.com, did a search of,
What is the going rate here for,
about 1,100 to 15. Well, it's 1,100 to 1,500, but really the 1,500 is like more of a house with a yard. When people go and see that there's no backyard and that there's not, it's, the size of it, they're very nice, but they are very small. Yeah. And so, people don't, they want a backyard or they want to be able to have their dog
for that price point.
for
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But we had reduced the rent and then we were covering all utilities. So we were trying to be competitive, but then, see if maybe it would help with them paying their own utilities and, and so that was something that we had looked at. I think it was prior to you
Yeah.
coming to the board. Yeah.
And then, we can, like you're saying, use that as like incentive to come. So there's some, equitable value there in doing that. So you better look at that. It may not be like monetarily, but
Well, that was always the point to, when they were purchased, was to help recruit from, yes, since we were not getting teachers.
When that was the thing, they would come, but then they couldn't find housing,
Yeah.
and so they couldn't stay, or they couldn't afford the commute. So, I mean, I don't know if you know, like when you're a brand new teacher, you come to the district, your first paycheck is in September.
yeah,
So,
you don't get like a free.
no, you don't get a.
for
Mm-mm.
So we don't really have a number on what that would equate to, like the value of offering that as an incentive, because that should be considered as well as like a value. Because it looks very negative from what we're
Right.
seeing, but if there's other value to it besides just a monetary.
And we put it on the agenda because, the last time we had a conversation about this, a lot of feedback from people saying, hey, y'all need to open it up for discussion from the community and, we want to give you our feedback. Some of these buildings were acquired a long time ago. They could be historical and got a lot of feedback like that, right? And then the other aspect of that was the opinion's very strong in that the committee was created, I think like 85 people.
65 people.
65, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Budget
it was
advisory.
created. That was one of the top things that they wanted for it to be sold, right? And so they made sure to remind me, like, hey, you were part of that committee, you were there, you heard it, specific feedback, and so we gotta make sure that we open it up for discussion, so basically we remind you of which way they're leading the community, right, the taxpayer, what they want, so this is an opportunity for them to say something now.
Yes.
Okay,
It's a public hearing.
I'm just, as a teacher, I'm born and raised here, so I don't have to have a place to live. Good, but I'm just thinking as a teacher and me coming, if I was coming into a new district, especially in Uvalde, after all, like I have a family, so I'm thinking after all the insurance is taken out, taxes, TRS, all that stuff, my check is very little. So $1,500, especially if I was gonna single mom or
Yeah.
coming in, would be a lot for me. And so I can see where that would discourage people from renting one of those properties, because they could probably get an apartment, maybe $800. May not be the best, but it would be more doable. And I'm just thinking, I would never be one, but I'm just thinking for me, that would be like, most of my chat bot goes to girl. And so that's, so you just see, like, it's part of it, it's now, if it's senior staff or somebody that makes a whole lot of money, it would be more manageable for somebody like that. But for just a teacher,
And I
I
think
think
that's
that's
what,
the
I think that's why
point I'm saying.
Ms. Colas had emailed us, for
Yes,
any
the
feedback, the sliding scale.
It is the sliding scale, so a new teacher would pay $700.
Right.
And, trying to get someone to come see what we have to offer, and then, we might incentivize more people to come in and, hey, I'll see what they have to offer. Cause then they're not locked into anything long-term. And we might get some good candidates coming in from
Well,
this.
it's at the going rate, and I don't know, we've been in our home for, I don't know, 24 years, so I don't know, when you're coming here, what the rent's gonna, I mean, I've seen some houses, bigger homes for rent, and I thought, wow, I mean, our mortgage isn't even that high, so I see where that would be, it would be a lot, it would be a lot of stress on especially a new teacher coming into a district and having to give up most of their check for rent and utilities, so then, I mean, if their car breaks down, and then how are they gonna pay for that?
One of the problems that one of the apartment complexes that I deliver mail to, they require like 5 or 6 months notice that they're gonna leave. And if we have teachers that, well, I don't know if my contract's gonna be renewed, so I mean, what do we do? What are they gonna do? Because they have to give them 6 months notice that, oh, I'm gonna be leaving at this date.
But I think we could work that out within the district for teachers, where it didn't feel like a burden, like, okay, what if we don't get renewed, and then we're stuck for 3 extra months here without, or,
Yeah,
paying
we
rent.
could-
Yeah.
Now, the other thing too is like when they come to give the interview and then they can't sign the contract until we as a board approve. That's the other thing that, but,
Right.
luckily with that manager, I've told them, that go ahead and let her sign the contract, more likely it's gonna be approved. So,
Anything else? Any more comments from you?
Your comments?
I got one. So, I still even certain wildlife, born and raised here, veteran, business owner, entrepreneur. I do have several properties right now. So the proposal I gave y'all, y'all have it in front of y'all, so, that's one thing I can offer as an incentive for teachers if y'all decide to actually sell the property. Depending on price point or not, that's something I can offer as well, that I hope teachers come in and, offer more housing and stuff for that. Just wanna throw that out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More questions? Okay. Item 5, Superintendent's Report, Mrs. Colas.
Thank you, President Bettis. Domain 1, under high quality curriculum and effective instruction, there's the NIET update as we strive to embed coaching into our daily world in Uvalde, CISD. During November, the district demonstrated a strong unified commitment. And this is from our Jennifer Woods, who is from NIET and works with a multitude of districts, coming in and working with our leadership teams and our PLCs on a very regular basis, weekly basis across the district, gives these reports. During November, the district demonstrated a strong unified commitment to strengthening instructional leadership and deepening the effectiveness of our ILT, which is our instructional leadership teams, and cluster structures, which are our professional learning communities. Leadership teams were receptive to observation and feedback cycles, and principals engaged actively in refining systems that support high-quality learning for teachers. Instructional coaches utilized existing tools and structures, such as meeting agendas, grounded in the 5 steps of effective learning and high-quality instructional materials, aligned planning protocols to guide collaborative learning and reflection. Across campuses, foundational elements of instructional leadership teams and professional learning community meetings are in place, and leaders continue to prioritize coherence, alignment, and instructional improvement. Our opportunities for growth across all schools, there's a clear need for to further protect and prioritize time for teachers to develop and deepen their internalization of materials, practicing upcoming lessons, and planning for immediate classroom implementation. Instructional leadership teams and PLC agendas should more explicitly highlight how each meeting's learning connects to student achievement and growth, strengthening the through line from learning to practice to impact remains a district-wide opportunity. So we're really working on, how the practice of our teachers impacts our students. In addition, campuses would benefit from more explicit alignment across the instructional leadership teams, professional learning communities, and classroom expectations to ensure that consistency in instructional priorities are effective and to support teachers in applying learning with students. The intended outcome of that would be to improve effectiveness of our meetings, enhance teacher practice through protected time and stronger alignment between professional learning and classroom implementation. Again, so we're working on constantly streamlining based on the feedback from NIET to help our teachers with their practice so that it impacts our students positively. We're going to continue our T-test calibration to reinforce consistent expectations and feedback quality. We're going to be supporting our coaches in applying the 5 steps of effective learning to strengthen our professional learning communities and our teachers' internalization, rehearsal, and next steps. We're working on next steps, ensuring alignment across those ILT and cluster and classroom practices to maintain clear connection to student learning goals. Monitoring implementation trends to provide differentiated coaching and surface emerging best practices. And we're always working on strengthening our PLC structures to support consistent lessons across campus and coherence. So that is our update from NIET. Domain 2, effective and well-supported staff, our CHDI school-based clinic usage. I just want to point out a couple of things. Across the district, students were 80% of the visits. There were 65 visits for the month of November. 80% were students, 20% were staff. And then the other important metric that I want to point out is that 35% of those visits, 35% of the people seen are uninsured. So that's a no-cost clinic for our staff and our students, where they don't, 35% of the people who utilized it don't have insurance and were able to go and be seen at no cost. So our partnership with CHDI continues to be a very valuable partnership for our students and our staff and our families. The Coyote certification cohort update. Coyote certification cohort is meeting weekly on Tuesdays at the Flores Library, where childcare is provided for attendees. They have group study emails that we're sending out, in-person study groups by certification area, and help with study plans. This month, we do not have any people to report as having tested and passed like we did last month. Last month, we were able to report that 5 teachers passed their certification exams. This month, we haven't had anyone report that they have tested and passed their certifications. Domain 3, positive school culture. I want to report under safety and security that the vestibule project has been completed and our vestibules are up and running. So that's a really good, we're glad to have that project complete for safety and security. I want to let everyone know that our TASB survey of district climate and culture, the contract with TASB has been signed and UCISD is scheduled for March or April, which is how far out they're working right now for the board approved district culture and climate survey. Domain 4, alignment of financial well-being with student achievement. Our CFO support plan, as you know, Ms. Bindley is leaving us at the end of this month. She has yet to decide if she will retire or if she will pick up another job in public ed, because there are so many, there's so much need right now in the CFO position. So that y'all know, UCISD has contracted with Region 20 for school financial services support currently through March 30th, 2026, not to exceed an amount of $26,000. Should we need to continue support due to the inability to hire a CFO, I will bring the contract back to the board for approval as necessary. The expenditure appears that it's going to go over the $50,000 threshold. We have not had any applicants for the CFO position. There are currently 250 open CFO positions across the state of Texas. We were the 251st. So if you know any good CFOs, send them our direction, especially ones with experience in public school finance, which is highly difficult. So the upcoming events are at your seat. I believe Mika put those out for y'all for December, and we hope to see you at some events this time. And that concludes my superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. Colas.
I just want to just let the folks know that it's imperative on the survey and get those surveys, take the time, be honest, be truthful. It's one way to make change. So it's important. The other thing that, as y'all are well aware, when things happen at the school, people reach out, whether it's an employee or somebody from the community, and they state the obvious, right? Why this and why that, and especially with security. And sometimes people hold back and they say, yeah, I figured somebody would say something, or I figured, why didn't y'all say something, or nobody's brought it up, nobody's addressed it. My point in telling you that is that we all have to take ownership with that. And, when I say culture, I don't mean it just maybe that we're timid that we feel like we are not in place to say something or to correct something. But at the end of the day, you know, if something were to go wrong and you didn't say something, you know, you probably would feel really guilty. And so when I see these things come up and the phone calls that we get and we talk about it and we emphasize how important it is. So empowerment is the key. Go to your boss, go to your supervisor. If they're not listening, then go to your, you know, area manager, and then just make sure that these things are addressed immediately. Because the last thing we need is something to go wrong, and we look back and it's like, man, why didn't somebody just speak up? Simple as that, you know. But on the survey thing, it's critical that you take the time, whether it's at the house or at work, and just complete the survey.
For the safety aspect, didn't we have an app where people can report it?
The Stop It app, yes, and it's an anonymous reporting tool. So we encourage people to report safety concerns. If they want to send it through the app, they can use the Stop It app to do that.
Just for clarification on the CFO, I know we talked about it, and that's somebody coming in a couple times a week, right? Is that what the situation is?
At least once a week, and then possibly virtually if we need them. Then they've got a business office support team at Region 20 that will help get the work done as well.
So Pam wouldn't stay once a week?
She can't the first 30 days, but after that.
I know. And Pam, it's just losing you is a big loss. It's a tremendous loss. We appreciate everything that you've done for our district, for all of us, for answering our questions, for giving us updates, and you're gonna be missed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Bendy.
Item 6, item of Division of Curriculum and Instruction.
Thank you, President Pettis. Tonight we have Dr. Bynum, our special ed director. Special education refers to a program that provides customized instruction and services to students with disabilities. Special education services are designed to help students make progress in school and benefit from general education. Dr. Bynum will present information on our UCISD special education program. Thank you, Dr. Bynum.
Thank you for having me. Today, I will specifically discuss our results-driven accountability. First, we have a total, when last I checked, of 3,225 students enrolled in UCISD. 612 of them, ages 3 through 21, received special education services. That was the last number I checked last week or the week before, and that's a 19%, which is kind of high, but not atypical. So the results-driven accountability is actually Chapter 12 of our accountability manual. TEA moved it over to the regular accountability manual, I think 2 years ago. We'll discuss the STAR scores first in the RDA. Special Education Domain 1 of the Results-Driven Accountability, Chapter 12. STAR scores 3 through 8 passing rate. So our reading grades 3 through 8, 248 students were tested, 110 passed. Passing rate of 44.4, which puts us at a performance level of 2. 0 is the best. The lower, the better on these. So our math, you can see we received a performance level of 3. And I'll go into some of our activities that we have to participate in when I'm done with this. Again, passing rate for science 3 through 8 and social studies 3 through 8. We had a performance level of 4 in social studies, but again, they don't really count that one against us because there were only 34 students that were tested and 10 passed. So they also look at the number. There'll be a few also that we look at in a minute that are NA because the numbers are so low. Year after exit. This means when a student has been dismissed from special education and they are no longer receiving services, this is the year after they've been dismissed from special education, how they did on the STAR test. So they're still tracking them after they've left, like they met their goals, they're doing well, they're fully mainstream. So our math, again, but it's very low. It's only 13 students that were dismissed and 13 students that were dismissed and tested because they could have been in different grade levels, and only 5 passed. But in reading, 15 were tested and 10 passed, so that was good. So for reading, it looks like we're dismissing appropriately. Math is difficult all the way around, so we'd have to compare it to our general ed and see how they're doing. But I know that's a difficult area. So these are students that have been dismissed any grades between 3 through 8. Again, year after exit, science and social studies, the numbers, as you can see, are so low, they didn't even count them. It's not applicable because it's statistically not appropriate. EOC passing rate. Algebra, 54 were tested, 25 passed, a passing rate of 46.3. That gives us a poor performance level of 2, which is not great, but it's not terrible. Room for improvement. Again, biology, 24 tested, 11 passed, PL2. Again, those numbers aren't very high, so it's hard to argue the point of PL2, PL3, PL1 when the number of students that participated were that low. U.S. History and English 1. English 1 and 2 is a PL3 also. So those are areas that we will be targeting, and like I said, we'll get into those activities in a minute. Our graduation dropout rate. Now these numbers sometimes feel funny. So graduation dropout, 33 students in special education in the graduating class, 27 of them graduated. That's 81.8% PL0. We're doing great there. When we say 259 attended and 8 dropouts, the dropout rate is measured from 7th grade through 12th grade. It's a long, because most students, if you don't know, drop out between 8th and 9th grade. They just don't show up for 9th grade. So the state changed the numbers and how they do the math on that. Used to be everyone's dropout rate skyrocketed a few years ago, if anyone noticed, because it used to just count from 11th to 12th grade. Well, if they made it to 11th, they usually graduated. The math got changed from 7th to 12th grade is a new math. So that's what that number is looking at. So our PL level is 1 there, so that's not terrible. Setting environments. Our early childhood students, 57 students in early childhood, those are EE classes. 9 are in the regular early childhood program. I had to think about my own acronym for a minute. That's 12%, PL2, that's not too bad. Regular classes, we had 562 students, 492 in regular ed, mostly. That's a PL of 0, so that's good. We're mainstreaming our students. You can't get better than 0. Again, our SPED regular class is less than 40%, so we have 555 students. Less than 40% is 77, rate 13.9 at PL2. So again, our regular classes, that's in all regular ed classes. Our SPED representation, last numbers I looked at, we had 4,007 students enrolled, 619 received special education services on some level. Those could be students with just only speech only, all the way to our very involved students that receive occupational therapy, physical therapy, and all the academics and everything. So that includes all students. When we look at our expulsion rates, 666 students, 56 OSS expelled for less or equal to 10 days. 7 were greater than 10 days. That's a rate of 1.1, and our performance level is NA on that. When students that receive special education services hit the 10-day mark in a school year of either ISS, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, going to DAEP, that's considered out of placement. We have to look at their disability and be sure that whatever the behavior was that caused the disciplinary action is not a manifestation of their disability. So when we look at our numbers, we're doing okay there, but it's an area to watch because, again, 45 students had less than 10 days of ISS, 1 greater than 2 days, performance level 2. SPED total disciplinary removals 3 through 21, again, performance level of 2, of 0. Performance level of 2, I'm sorry, this one was 0. This one is performance level 2. It should have said PL2, that shouldn't be on there twice. That's my mistake. That's the same slide. We are a PL2 on that one. So that's when we need to look at total disciplinary removals. Not just ISS, but ISS, OSS, all the disciplinary removals that could happen. We're a performance level 2. When we hit performance level 3, TEA starts paying attention. If we hit performance level 3 for 3 years in a row, TEA shows up. And then they start talking about withholding funds for disciplinary things. That's the only area in special ed that will happen, is when we have too many disciplinary removals. So our overall determination level in special education is a determination level of 3. That's primarily due to our STAR scores, because as we saw, our discipline was only a 2 right now. We are engaging with TEA right now. Let me see where I went next. So determination level 3, I'm currently working on a strategic support plan with TEA. That's a process that they have. In addition, there are 8 steps in the strategic support plan: reviewing of data sources. We've already done that. I'm working with Region 20 on this also. Identifying priority areas, developing a problem statement. So these are all the 8 steps that we have to go through, that I have to go through when we're doing a strategic support plan. So we're currently working on that. Our root cause analysis is we need to have really good tier 1 instruction. The district as a whole is struggling with STAR, so we would expect our students with special education to be struggling also. Our strategic support plans are submitted to TEA. We retain all the information ourselves. We use the Ascend program, and I am currently working, like I said, with Region 20 on our plan. I met with them last week. We started our root cause analysis, and we'll be moving forward on that. In addition, that's my last slide, but we are also engaging with TEA right now for SPP Indicator 11. That's initial evaluations. We had too many that went over the timelines last school year. We're also participating in targeted support, as I said, this strategic support plan, and we will be participating in cyclical monitoring this year. So those are all the things that you could be participating in with TEA in 1 year. But it's okay, a lot of it's related. I've already been working on it. I've had Region 20 come out. They're coming out for some other things also to observe some of our programs, make suggestions for us. And most of it is what we would expect also. Is we just really need to have some consistency horizontally and vertically between our campuses as students move up. And we've done some training, and I think we'll get there. I'm excited to be here and work on improving our education for our students with special needs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did it?
You know when we'll be able to see the SSP? Do you know when that'll be available?
I haven't written it yet. I work on it with TEA, so I can, when I get it together, I can submit it to you. It goes into the Ascend program, so I can figure out how to get it to print out. But I'm working on that with Region 20 and TEA, and we just met last week to begin that process.
So just a month, 2 months? You know how long the process usually takes?
It's months. It's not due for a few months, yeah. I'm happy to provide updates as we go. It's not a problem.
Okay.
That it?
Thank
you
you,
very
Dr.
much.
Bynum.
Item 7, items of Division of Business and Finance. Superintendent Colas.
Thank you. Actually, we've got course catalog.
Oh, did I skip one? Sorry. Item B, discuss and consider approval of course requests for the 2026-2027 school year.
Thank you, President Pettis. Uvalde CISD course catalogs are in revision for the 26-27 school year. Our campuses are requesting the addition of the following course for the 26-27 school year. Sorry about that. Lifetime Wellness and Health. UCISD campus leadership teams review course offerings and make recommendations for courses in alignment with endorsements, graduation requirements. UCISD C&I leadership review recommendations, verify instructional materials, funding-based courses, and staffing impact and programmatic impact. The fiscal impact for this would hit our instructional material adoptions. And we're recommending that the additional course requested for the 26-27 school year be approved. That's what we're requesting. And again, that is a lifetime wellness and health course.
Is it a 1 year? Is it
Ms. Graber, is it?
Half credit.
Health, and it's in response to recent legislation. So it's a health course with updated TEKS, but we already have an adoption for our health that's fairly recent that covers all of the concepts that need to be covered within this course.
So this just replaces health then?
And our health course right now is currently a half credit. So that this will be, and the cool thing about it is a CTE course. So we can also think about how we can use that in a CTE program instead.
What grade level do they usually take this?
Anyone from grade 9 through 12. It has to be made available, but it's not required yet for graduation.
Thank you. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Board President, I make a motion that we, add course, lifetime wellness and health as requested for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Flores.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7, items of Division of Business and Finance. Superintendent Colas.
Thank you. Background on this is that the property description 09800 McGlasson subdivision lot 1 block 5, address per CAD is 802 South Camp Street, Uvalde, Texas. The original sheriff's tax sale, the date was April 10th, 2012. The minimum bid at that point was $7,064.41. During, I believe, the post-judgment 2011-2012. The sale resulted in the minimum bid threshold not met, and the property was struck off to UCISD to be held in trust on behalf of all the taxing units. Several private bids received hovering around the $7,000 mark. Land non-home site value is there. It's being valued through the appraisal district at $33,000. As of the 2025 certified year, no improvements have been made to it. The taxes due as of December 20th, 2025 is $14,040.83 to $7,393.37 is due to Uvalde CISD. And then the other taxing entities are owed about $4,300. So after a property is struck off to any of the taxing units following a tax foreclosure sale, the entities can entertain private resale bids for any amount, or the district can place the property on a public resale. The property is currently held in trust by UCISD on behalf of the other districts and our district and the other taxing units. If a public resale is authorized by UCISD, the property will be eligible to be placed on a public sale at the courthouse steps for the highest offer, starting at whatever amount is authorized by UCISD here tonight, the board meeting, pursuant to section 34.05 Texas Tax Code. Fiscal impact distribution of the sale proceeds is pursuant to 34.06 of the Texas Tax Code. Minimum bid would be $7,064.41. UCISD represents about 57% of what would be collected at $3,242.85. The recommendation at this time would be to set a specific amount to allow for public resale to occur so that the property can be sold at the highest bid amount and placed back on the property tax rolls, which is approximately $7,000. And then we have our partner here tonight to answer any questions that you may have about that.
So in your experience, setting the minimum bid value, because if we go too high, then we end up not selling again. So a lot like this, what would your suggestion be to set a minimum bid?
Well, so because we've already received several private resale bids, at a little under 7,000. Y'all could start it at 6,500 or 7,000, whichever, y'all want. We'll notify all those individuals who put in the private resale bid. And then we'll start the bidding from there, see who shows up. If our right buyer shows up, we'll go from there. What makes this property a little bit different, I don't know if it was included or referenced in the appraisal that you all received separately. That would be the information pertaining back to that previous item. This lot, it's a vacant lot. It's right next to a city lot. And it looks like there's some sort of utilities on it, some gas stuff. And I don't know, I know in the past, I'm like pulling back here. I think that there may have been comments by the city that there may be an odor around the property. So I don't know if maybe that's kind of kept anybody interested in putting in a serious offer, because I mean, it's appraised by CAD at 33,000. I don't know if y'all's appraisal came somewhere around that mark as well. So that's kind of a fairly big delta there for, there not to be a serious push for the property. So that would be my only comment, is that, what's next to it might be having some sort of effect on the value that may not necessarily be currently represented on the appraisals that y'all have. Also, the city might be interested in it as well. Y'all can approve for me to start on it. I can also notify city staff and see whether or not the city manager's office might be interested in coordinating and seeing if the city might want to acquire the property and maybe grow from whatever it has on there currently in the lot next door. So that's something to consider as well. Of course, at that point in time, it wouldn't be our parcel that is on the tax roll, accruing property taxes. But at least the idea of it is it should be utilized for some public good as opposed to just being a inventory lot.
Well, since we didn't get anything over 7,000 last time, you'll want to set it at 7,000 and at least get it back on the books to start getting taxes. Anybody object to that?
I like it.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion.
Let's see, Madam Board President, I make a motion that we set the public resale for this property at 802 South Camp Street to $7,000.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Quinones, second by trustee Rizo.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
I do have a resolution in there, so if the exhibit can be filled out with a dollar amount and executed, that'll be my backup for starting bid.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item B, discuss and consider amending the stipend schedule for 2025-2026 to include paying the bilingual stipend to additional teachers in bilingual teaching roles. Superintendent Hillis?
Thank you, President Pettis. This was a request from the board to add this back to the agenda to discuss and consider providing the bilingual stipend to all teachers that are at UDLA. I have found that there are two not receiving it. One is the PE teacher who teaches in English and is not bilingual certified. Another is an uncertified teacher who has no is not certified at all and is not bilingual certified. We did find out that there are a number of teachers who are uncertified that are still getting the stipend. So at this point, I feel like for this year, it's probably, we should probably approve it for the other two teachers, but that's y'all's call if y'all want to. It's a $2,750 stipend. Another one was our special ed teacher
who is not bilingual certified.
So you're saying that, some of the uncertified bilingual teachers are getting a stipend?
Getting
Yeah,
this.
We discovered that
Yeah.
too, we're not.
So we either need to either correct it in one direction or another. Like we need to either say, no, if you're not certified, you're not, and we need to correct it. Or we need to say that for this school year, we're going to provide it to,
So in past, has it always been that everybody got the stipend?
no, well, in the past, what this compensation plan said was it was for certified teachers, which is what it still says. It just was not the practice. So we either need to
Make it right.
we either need to make it right, or we need to fix the compensation plan.
Yeah, I think
then-
for this year, we just make it right. And then we can follow the policy next year and break that
Yeah.
down so everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
It gives people time to
Time to
prepare
pre-
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So, Madam Board President, I make a motion that we change the criteria from certified bilingual teachers to all teachers who teach in a position that requires bilingual certification.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Quinones, second by trustee Flores.
Discussion real quick.
Mhm.
So is it gonna be up to the 10,000 as stipulated here?
In addition to what we're paying,
Okay.
correct. It would be up to about 10,000.
Okay.
That's to catch up for what we didn't pay those other individuals.
Correct. That'd be for the whole year. Cause the stipends are about 2,500, depending on the grade level, 2,750 or 2,500, it depends. But it comes out to about $10,000.
Aye.
Aye.
And then
Motion.
just one go on record, aye. I didn't vote.
I got
I hadn't
it.
voted.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Item 8, items of Division of Administration and Operations. Ms. Willis?
Thank you. This is the agenda item for y'all to consider to designate 10 non-business days for consideration of Public Information Act requests for the calendar year of 2026. House Bill 3033 of the 88th regular session of the Texas Legislature impacts governmental entities' response to Public Information Act. Complying with the Texas Public Information Act, or TPIA, requires adherence to timelines that reference business days, but no formal meaning had ever been established. The law now formally defines the meaning by clarifying business days do not include the following: weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, national holidays, state holidays, optional holidays, Friday or Monday before or after a national or state holiday if the holiday falls on the weekend, and if the governmental body observes the holiday on that Friday or Monday, and then up to an additional 10 designated non-business days per calendar year on which administrative offices are closed or operating with minimum staff, which that applies to the school district, spring break, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And so based on a recommendation by administration, the designation of the 10 non-business days for TPIA per calendar year for the school district must be made by the Board of Trustees. Behind this sheet, you'll see the days that we are recommending that we would not be held accountable for the 10 business days. We picked 3 over spring break. We picked July 2nd. We picked 2 over the November Thanksgiving holiday, and then 4 over the December Christmas break. And the recommendation from myself, I recommend approval to designate the 10 non-business days for consideration of the Public Information Act requests for the calendar year of 2026.
Are these the same days we approved last year?
Yes, sir. Very similar. They may not be the exact date, but yes, it's the same.
Same
setup.
time frame?
Same time frame.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Board President, I make the motion for the approval to designate 10 non-working days for consideration of Public Information Act requests for calendar year 2026 at Consolidated.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Flores, second by trustee Suarez.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's see, item B, discuss and consider approval concerning the May uniform election date and to order the May general election. Superintendent Colas?
Swapped.
Right, right.
Okay. Uvalde CISD will only need to contract. I'm missing that one, so. Let's see, I'm gonna pull back over here. So this is for y'all, the opportunity to consider the resolution to, call or approve the May uniform election date and order the May general election, and that's B, which is supposed to be on 37, but it is not for me, so I apologize for that. Oh, no, it is. Okay, I'm sorry. So sorry. Thought that was our uniform dates. The first day to apply for ballot for mail is going to be Thursday, January 1st, 2026. We would order the election Monday, December 15th, 2026. The first day to file for a place on the ballot for cities and schools only would be the filing deadline. For other political subdivisions that may vary, but for us, it's going to be Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. Last day to file for a place on the ballot will be Friday, February 13th, 2026 at 5 p.m. The first day of early voting is Monday, April 20th, 2026. The last day to apply for ballot by mail is Monday, April 20th, 2026. The last day of early voting is Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. The last day to receive ballot by mail is Saturday, May 4th, 2026. And then election day is also May 4th, Saturday, 2026. And I am recommending approval of the Saturday, May 4th as the uniform 2026 date as the uniform election date, and to move forward to order the May general election.
Any questions? Or entertain a motion?
Madam Board President, I make a motion to approve the Saturday, May 4th, 2026 as a uniform election date and to move forward to order the May general election.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Quinones.
Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you.
Item C, discuss and consider approval of a resolution to designate the superintendent authority to contract with Uvalde County officials for the Uvalde CISD Board of Trustees election. Ms. Colas?
Thank you. Uvalde CISD will only need to contract with Uvalde County this year to run the May 4th, 2026 school board election. The Board of Trustees of a school district must include the resolution as an item on the regular agenda for a board meeting. The Uvalde County will split the charge of its actual cost of early voting and actual cost of elections due to it being a joint election. We are recommending that you approve the resolution to designate me the authority to contract with Uvalde County officials for the Uvalde CISD Board of Trustees election.
Madam Board President, I think a point of order real quick. Looking at the calendar, my previous motion is incorrect. It should be May 2nd.
It is May.
It is May
I
2nd.
apologize.
It is May second.
It is
It's May 2nd.
2026. So I'm going to restate my motion so we can,
Okay.
for the record. So I recommend approval of Saturday, May 2nd, 2026 as a uniform election date and move forward to order the May general election.
Second.
I just want to make sure.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, trustee Suarez.
Okay. And then, thank you for that. This item is, we're recommending to approve the resolution to designate the superintendent authority to then contract with Uvalde County officials for the UCISD Board of Trustees election on May 2nd, 2026.
I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Board President, I make the motion to approve resolution to designate the superintendent authority to contract with Uvalde County official for the Uvalde CISD Board of Trustees election on May 2nd, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Flores, second by trustee Suarez.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, discuss and consider approval of updating the board operating procedures regarding board officers. Ms. Phyllis, I know that, I asked for this to be put on the agenda because when you look at elections in May, you're looking at a possible 5 new board members. And so our policy says that only, board members who have spent 1 year on the board can be an officer. So that would leave you, if you had 5 new board members, it would leave you 1 less board officer. So that is, if I explain that correctly, Ms. Cullis, the reason for bringing this to the board before elections.
Yeah, I think just having a policy saying in the event that there's not,
Yeah, I agree.
we
Good
don't
point.
have the numbers, then would you put them in a secretary position? I mean, trust the reason is, I mean, I saw the work.
I don't know.
I mean, it seems like a lot,
I'm gonna take that.
like, because you're in charge of all the notes, the closed meeting, like, there's a
No, it's a big responsibility.
a lot of responsibility.
Big responsibility.
But he has an iPad now.
Yeah, but still, I mean.
Well, but the thing
You
is,
gotta have
the
to
thing
calibrate
with
it.
elections, yeah, being in May, there's that training in June. I mean, the big board training, the board members need to go to, should go to new board, you know, it teaches you all the upcoming board, you know, requirements, regulations, what you can and cannot do. And I think, you know, I mean, I'm sure trustee Risa would be a good resource to help out.
Is there a way we can put in a binder all those new changes that the legislative session changed? So they can at least look at it, you know, the new board members? Like, you know, it's something that,
There's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
a lot
well,
of
there's
changes.
Yeah, there is a lot of change. Anything else? So at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Board President, I make a motion that we amend the board operating procedures in the event that there are not 3 qualified people, that the newest person fills the secretary seat.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Quinones, second by trustee Flores.
I have a quick question. So basically then you're saying, out of the 5 that get elected, then their only option would be to fill the secretaries. They wouldn't be able to run for either.
Well, they could do either. They could do, yeah, it gives them,
Yeah, it's,
But he's saying only secretary, right? You said.
That's what I
Yeah.
meant.
So then your last 2, you know, our 2 board members that are left would take president, vice president, right? I mean, technically.
well, if it's 5 new members.
Right.
If it's 5 new members. If anybody else that's on the board, that currently on the board gets reelected.
right, right. That's why we have to bring it now, because there could potentially be 5 new
5
board
new-
members.
exactly.
We don't want the potential of the 5 new board members to have an issue if this comes up. We don't want to violate board policy.
Are you concerned with it only being a secretary and not opening up to VP and president? Is that what you're getting at?
I said, because that's what we're saying. We're like saying that that other member can only affirm.
I'd hate
I
for
know
someone
what you're
to,
saying, because it's somebody new, how do you
Right,
make them
right.
president? If they have no
Yeah.
experience, and that makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I'm playing scenario that,
So what if somebody gets elected that's been on the board like in previous years, that's had more, you know what I mean? That
It
has,
says 1 year board experience.
yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
say
Yeah.
in the past, or, I mean,
it doesn't matter if
Right,
if you've been on the board
right.
before, it can still, you can still.
Right, it just says to have a year
But then we could
experience.
say that if you had no experience, then your position is secretary. You know what I mean? Then the result should be. I don't know how
That's-
that's, you know.
No,
what
I
mean?
get it, I
Like,
get
don't
it.
know how
Yeah,
to say it.
that's why I went with qualified by the timeline, so if they don't have that year qualification, then they would fall into that. Just because I wouldn't want the president to be absent and then their vice president, now they have to be president, and that's, it takes some
Philip, did
experience.
we word that right?
How do we word this?
I'm not sure if you're only, it sounds like you only want to eliminate the requirement for the secretary position if you don't have a sufficient number of board member experience.
Well,
That was how I understood the motion.
Correct, that's what I intended the motion to be.
So in other words, the president and vice president position would still require 1 year of experience, but it would only be the secretary position that
Right.
could be someone could serve in that position without the experience if there's no other
Correct.
members at the time that have a 1 year of experience.
I-
That's how I understood the motion.
That is, yeah, that's basically what he's saying. You know, we didn't get a chance to fully vote on it, but I think for me, you know, tenure doesn't necessarily mean you're a really good candidate, you know, person for that. Every role is important. I think that leadership, I mean, I don't think that we should limit it just to the,
Right, because what if the only two qualifying board members don't want to be president?
Yeah.
Then what?
I don't.
Cause that could happen,
No, that's true.
that could happen.
And you could have somebody that served at another board that's
That's
very
right.
well versed, that's gonna come in here and just take the role and.
But if they
because
have
they're-
that experience, it doesn't say, like, they would have the 1 year experience. They would
Yeah,
be
but the
qualified.
way the way President Bettis is saying, let's say the two sitting board members say, I don't want to be president, I don't want to be vice president.
My schedule doesn't allow.
And then we're, the way, I understand where you're coming from, the way the motion's worded, that you're only able to be the secretary if we adopt it based on that motion.
Okay,
You're new.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can take out that part then.
I think it's a good idea because, right, it takes a lot of outside time, a lot of time. And what if your job doesn't allow you to be president or vice president,
It's a lot.
right? I mean,
You can have
So
split
let-
it.
So let me offer one practical, because this is not a matter of state law, state law doesn't.
Right,
it's a
right.
requirement. So you don't even have it in policy, I think you only have it in your operating.
operating
Procedures.
Bottom line is, whoever the board is in May after they're elected can make whatever rule they want to make at that time. They're gonna be able to change the operating procedure at that time anyway. So even if you determine today what was suggested, and then May comes around and you have a full new board, the board members at that time would be able to determine if they want to
Change it.
have that. So if the two board members who are still here, one of them says they don't want to serve, the board at that time can, at that, sort of deal with the issue at that point by further changing the policy.
They can vote on it.
Yeah, they can vote on it.
So then, Philip, we do not need, to update our operating policy or updating procedures.
And I guess we could, right? And then if they choose to do it something different,
Because wouldn't it have to be on the agenda in May for them to cover that? I mean, how are they gonna know
how
you're
are they
a
gonna get on the?
brand new
agenda?
board member
I think they need somewhere to start, right?
and then after that, they can amend whatever
You
we.
could make this change tonight,
Mhm.
I believe that's the most likely, not most likely scenario, but if you're gonna be short, you have to short one.
Right.
And at least you've done that, and then if the circumstances change and you have the election in May, you'll have to put it on the agenda whenever you reorganize the board.
Which is that night with
To
the
be able
swearing in of the new
do
members.
this.
Yeah.
And just have this on the item, the agenda, to be able to make any change to the operating procedures that may be necessary.
Anyway,
Sticky.
So that was discussion, right?
that was
That was
discussed.
discussion. So can you restate your motion?
So we're just gonna table it then, and they can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just rephrase it. The other option is that, now, this is the first I've heard this tonight, is, sometimes it's easier to actually have language. In the amended writing, some of your language in front of you. And so one thing we can do is we can bring back in January an actual amended provision. I think I know what you guys are sort of getting at, like, we can bring back an option for you to consider, just adopt it, that does essentially that, but maybe has some language also governing if the trustees with experience opt not to serve, then it also doesn't. So we come up with some scenarios. Might be easier to have the language in front of you.
Right, so we can table it till January. Just
Well,
wanted,
You do have a motion. You
so
do
we
have
have
a second.
Second,
So we've had discussion. So, it would be up to
Not to vote.
trustee Quinones to remove his motion.
Madam Board President, I make a motion to remove my previous motion.
You can just withdraw your motion.
I withdraw. All right.
You make a motion to withdraw your motion, then we gotta vote on that. Just withdraw your.
I withdraw.
so trustee Flores does too.
Oh, I withdraw my second.
So, Madam President,
we'll
if we can, contact, Philip to do the proposal
Yeah.
and put it on the January agenda, please.
Thank you, Philip. Alrighty. Item E, consider approval of the change in date for the January regular board meeting. Superintendent Colas?
Thank you, President Pettis. The regularly scheduled board meeting for January is on Monday, January 12th, 2026. Administration respectfully requests approval to reschedule the January regular board meeting from January 12th to January 19th. This recommendation change is due to a scheduling conflict that was recently identified. Adjusting the meeting date will ensure that all required reporting and submission deadlines can be met. We would need, basically, if we leave it January 12th, we would need all of the board items turned in like Thursday before we leave for the break.
Because they're coming back.
Right.
Yeah, it's on
Right.
that, off the long break.
And I know we had moved it from Martin Luther King Day because it was a federal holiday.
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna help our staff and not put a burden on people getting the information to us.
Do it
I
on,
think it's-
do it on the Tuesday.
Well, I'm fine with doing it on Tuesday. That's up to y'all.
That way we can still observe.
And leave.
I'm okay.
one day off.
It's fine to me moving it to the 19th.
What day was gonna be the special one for the evaluation?
29.
29.
29th, okay.
We are able, is it our board, I think it's in our policy though, that our board meetings are the second. They just have to, they can put it whenever they want.
That's the regularly scheduled
Regularly
meeting,
scheduled.
but you can
We can amend.
change it from.
So it could be the Tuesday.
So that would be Tuesday, the 20th.
Next.
That's too close.
Well, that's too close to our special meeting too.
Mhm.
That's right. Oh.
So we could do it Tuesday, the 20th.
That way we can still observe it, okay? Madam Board President, I make a motion to move the January regular board meeting from January 12th, 2026 to January 20th, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Quinones.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, item 9, the consent agenda. Anybody wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Item A through item S?
Can I get Oscar and Papa?
What'd you say?
Oscar,
Mm-hmm.
Papa.
O, item of information on
Oh,
student
oh.
attendance.
No one else?
Oh, and P.
Have we, anybody else pulling anything?
No.
I just always want to look at our attendance, make sure that we're not,
That's what I was gonna ask. So I know that we had spoke about revisiting like ADA and the actual attendance that we have to make adjustments. But I know we were kind of going back and forth on those numbers. Are we close to those? I know we were trying to not be conservative, but not be. I know Pam was gonna revisit that, right, at the end of the year?
Yeah, it won't be Pam anymore, but we'll have somebody revisit it.
Because I know she had, the special education teacher, coordinator had discussed attendance. We're gonna have that in her presentation, was it 3,200 and?
Right,
That
so our,
wasn't close to our number that we had agreed upon, right, at that meeting?
our current enrollment is actually 3845.
Okay.
That's, our current enrollment is 3845 according to our enrollment tracker that we use regularly. And our current, let's see,
Attendance.
our attendance has been in the high 80s, low 90s as a whole thus far.
have we gone, I know we took one person to the truancy court. Have we taken any more?
I don't believe we have. We are working through the process though with some a targeted group of families.
Okay, cause it's not to get them in trouble, it's more
Right.
to see what we can provide, and, you know, sometimes people need to be forced to show up so we can get them to tell us what they need for support.
Yes.
Are we still okay with those numbers? Sorry, I'm going back to that. From the, I think it was like July meeting that we had talked about.
I don't believe Miss Bentley is, and I'm not either. I mean, I'm nervous about our numbers. I mean, because remember, there are a lot of calculations that go into the outcome of like the final number.
Right.
So we're gonna see, and part of the issue is we don't really know until the end of the year.
I don't know where we end up until the near final is posted, which is usually around September 10th, after the whole fiscal year is closed. I've tried to explain it numerous times that I don't know till the year's. I have an idea, but I don't know until the year's over and final piece is submitted and TEA looks at the many different factors, and even the September 10th doesn't have all the information. So I'm still comfortable with the number I presented.
So.
But not the
could
number that
we-
was voted on.
So could we say
No,
that?
I was never comfortable.
Is there a way to like adjust for that? I guess that's what I'm saying. I think, obviously we need to be on top of that, eyeing that through the year. And if we're not gonna make that, then is there a way for us to adjust? Or is that something that we have to do as a board? Like say, do we need to go back there and have them present this to us so we can?
What's the best way to approach that, Pam?
What was the question?
How do we, can we go back and adjust? I mean, we've adopted the budget,
Right.
and the number that y'all picked,
That's what she's on with.
I mean, it would be.
That's it would be a budget amendment, is what,
I think at this point, you just watch your spending,
right.
which is what I've now done. I've budgeted, I've done the expenditures based on my number, not y'all's.
Okay.
So I wasn't gonna spend beyond my number.
And so that number would cover us for the conservative number you gave us to begin with. Okay.
It should be in the ballpark, but again, you don't know that till your final comes out, usually around September 10th.
Okay.
And a lot of things change. I've tried to explain several times that there's just lots of variables.
It depends on the calendar, because at the August budget amendment, you'll remember there were several things that were covered. I have to accrue the revenue for the number of days the kids are in school in August. And that is based on the revenue that adopted. So yes, this year when I did the accrual for the revenue, I had to use y'all's number because that's what was adopted. So our revenue probably at 8/31 is going to be overstated from what I think it is. You have the salary accrual that you have to do. And the salary accrual is for the number of days the teachers work prior to September 1st. So that's, you don't know that till the calendar's adopted. That can be adjusted by the number of teachers that are on board. If you have a lot of vacancies, you don't accrue for the vacancies. So there's a lot of variables that go in August all the time. So the best thing's just always to be conservative.
I have a question real quick. Thank you, Ms. Benjamin.
Absolutely.
On the enrollment, on the, I'm assuming that obviously the blacked out days are gonna be the Friday that we didn't have school. So on pre-K 3 PM and pre-K 3 AM, because I'm noticing on the Fridays, and I'm on our board packet on the computer 102, is I'm noticing that in pre-K 3 AM, we have 100%, but then it drops down to 45. I'm looking at October 10th, drops down to 45.16% in the PM. So that brings our ADA to 67% for that date. And we're just keeping the pre-K 3 open on the Fridays that we don't have school? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, they are.
That's bringing it down a lot. If you look at.
So the pre-K 3 is on a separate calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So they are open on the Fridays that the rest of the district is closed. They are open on those Fridays, because they do have, to meet the attendance requirements.
Right.
For Middle Rio funding.
But that drops our ADAs on those Fridays. I'm looking at October 3rd, it dropped to 63%. October 10th, 67%. October 17th, 78%.
So
November 11th, 58%.
we have noticed there is a trend in the afternoons that the attendance does drop. And that's typically because the parents do pick up at noontime. And so that the afternoon attendance is, so we have the AM schedule and the PM schedule because they do flip. Because we do instruction half day and then the daycare, if you will, the wraparound services the other half of the day. And so we do see that trend, and we are working on the intervention plan for attendance. But that is something that we have noticed. But they do attend instruction. They do have an alternate calendar on those Fridays.
Yeah, because it looks like all the other times we have regular school for everybody there, the percentages in the PM are obviously higher.
Does the workforce center, don't they take you off the program if you miss so many days?
Yes, there is an attendance requirement so that we are tracking the attendance.
Do we have anybody close to being let go from the program because of their attendance?
So when we track the attendance, we do make the phone calls and reach out to the parents, and so then they do bring their notes in on time. But we don't have anyone that has met that threshold just yet.
Okay.
But again, that's something that we are working on.
Thank you. Item S. Consider approval concerning personnel. Oh, no.
P. Oh, he pulled P as well.
Oh, P, sorry, I circled the wrong thing. Item of information on student discipline.
For this one, do we need what do we need to do as a board to get some more support for the fights and stuff like that? Because they just seem to be getting out of hand. Do we need to have more monitors, or
It would cost more money.
yeah?
I mean,
I don't want to put this,
I will say that I have personally been on the campus of the junior high a couple times, and the halls are monitored pretty
Mhm.
well. I mean, as soon as that bell rings, you see everybody in their positions. At the high school too, everybody's in their positions. At the end of the day, I don't know if we can control what kids are gonna do as they're passing by.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, I think if you talk to any school district, the majority of your fights are gonna be in junior high, middle school, junior high, because there's identities trying to be.
Yeah, I just wanted
Mhm.
to see if there's any alternative things. I know like in Sabinal, if you get in a fight or get out, like they make you go clean the kitchen, do yard work. Is that
They used to make like the parent come with the child in the class. And that really curbs things because I don't know a parent that wants to sit at the junior high and follow their kid around. So that was another thing. I mean, that happened to my brother. It worked.
so? I mean, I'd like to give the admin, the teachers, other avenues that they could use to do that. Either something.
I mean, we have to probably put that in the handbook, right? But there has to be another alternative. I always threaten my kids, like, I'll go to class with you every day.
Yeah.
That's a problem. My kid wanted to sneak out, I got in the bed with him. I mean, but not everyone can do that. Not everybody cannot work. Like, I have vacation time, but we have families that get paid by the hour with no vacation time, no benefits. So I see both sides. I do. I really do. But
And that
we're
forces
putting a
them.
stress there too. But I agree, something needs to be done.
Yeah. So I mean, even having them help clean the kitchen. One they learn that, they respect that the jobs that our staff does, and then two, they might not want to lose out on gym time or lose some time after school or something.
We could talk about campus beautification. It's a matter, a majority of our staff, they're possibly doing PLCs. It's finding the people to do that. We probably have to pay a para or something after school time, additional overtime. I mean, I'm looking at Trish, the principal, to be able to do that once a week. Community service.
Well, because they go to DAP, right? If they fight, so could there be an alternative? Hey, we give you a chance, but you're gonna spend 5 days after school picking up trash, taking out the trash, picking up milk cartons or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
Sometimes we put them in the first of their contract.
Okay.
Community services.
So
So
maybe
when
they
did
can.
when did the parents become responsible? When did the parent fall
Right.
in?
No,
Because that's when it really, like, I know we talked about, they're hourly employees, but like, until you get it to where it's like, it bugs you and like it bothers, then you're gonna do something and sit that child down and be like, this cannot happen, or figure out why it's happening. What is it that's triggering? And are these kids, do they need to be like moved? Like, maybe there's a child that they just don't mesh with and it's a constant irritation. I just don't know the whole. It's hard.
Ms. Marlos and Mr. Serna, you're still here. On the code 21, the violation of the student code of conduct, is that mainly gonna be dress code violations? Or, cause those are pretty high.
Those are just any other violations, so persistent misbehavior,
Mhm.
anything else involving constant class disruption.
Okay.
So if we're already exhausted, everything else, it turns into an ISS placement.
And then the code 41, which is the fighting, is that, like it says mutual combat, so is that like just somebody pushes somebody, or is that like actually engaging in the fight?
Engage over physical.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anything else? I entertain a motion.
Madam Board President, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Riso.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Our next item is 10 closed session, but there are a few of us that want to say something before we go into closed session, if y'all are okay with that. National wants to cry. Pam? We want to thank you for all that you've done for us, all the late hours, coming up on the weekends, doing what you do. And I'll say it forever that you are one of the best. Like nobody can live in a little box and maintain what you do for us. And I've always said, I wish you would come manage my household. I could be very wealthy and
$100.
yeah, you would just pull the strings. My husband would love you. But we want you to know, like you are leaving humongous shoes to fill, and there'll never be another Pam. And it's a great loss for us. I wish you well, and know that after 30 days you can come back.
11 days a month.
We appreciate you, Pam, and thank you for everything that you have done for us.
Yeah, Ms. Mindley, thank you. You know, the amount of knowledge that you have, the information and your dedication. You know, I can only imagine, you know, you gotta show up in the morning, you got to probably think about it all night, show up in the morning, you know, pull numbers, get everything together and then stay here late and make the system turn. And that's a one tough job you have. So truly appreciate you.
Thank you, Pam. Dealing with money is
Pam, thanks for everything. You were here when we did that reduction in force, which was one of the hardest thing that we did. And I know that you know, it's gonna be kind of hard to replace you. And we hope that you come back and do some recruiting for us, you know, and get us somebody that will fulfill your shoes. Thanks again, and you're really appreciated.
I want to thank you for training me when I first started and trying to understand all the budgets. Where I come from an unbalanced checkbook, household checkbook. But thank you so much for being patient with me. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know I would contact you like, what does this mean? And you helped me out and you did not hesitate. You never got angry. You're always willing to sit down and visit with me and help me understand it. So thank you. And I wish you the very best.
I like to say I appreciate everything that you do because I have a deep understanding of everything and all the challenges and trying to balance, you know, the board and have everybody understand what you're doing because it is very complex and the time that you put into it, it's a true dedication and I wish you well.
The time now is 7:49. We will go into closed session. Closed session will be held under provision of Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Sections 551.071 and 551.074. Item A, deliberate and receive legal advice regarding approval of motion for Midelas First UCISD consent decree. The time now is 8:28 PM. We have reconvened from closed session for action relevant to items covered during closed session and other items listed. Item A, consider and take possible action to approve motion for Mead Ellis versus Uvalde CISD consent decree.
Madam President, I move to approve the filing of a motion to amend the consent decree in the Mireles versus Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District as discussed in closed session.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Flores.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 12, adjournment.
Madam Board President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Suarez, second by trustee Flores. Aye.
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 The time now is 8:29. The date is 12:15. We are adjourned.